Howdy, I'm going to do a quick little video to show you the basics of programming for your VEX IQ, I guess EDR as well, robot. So, I'm going to kind of go through this kind of fast because many of you have already gone through some of the CS2M materials, and I don't want to bore you too much, but I think just seeing a basic layout of a program will be good. So, what the program does is that it checks stuff forever and ever and ever and ever. It's going to keep checking the controller for as long as the program is running. It's not going to stop at some point. It's not going to stop in 10 minutes. It's not going to stop in 10 hours. As long as the program is running, it's going to repeat forever this checking of the controller to see what you're doing. So this tank control command, it's a function that has a few functions underneath it. It's setting the motors for you. And basically what it's doing is it looks at channel D and channel A. If you look at your VEX IQ controller, D and A are up and down on the two analog sticks. It's just there by default. This 10 means that it's going to ignore any value less than 10. So like if you push the analog stick just up a little bit, which it might get a little bit off anyway, like up to 3, it's just going to ignore it. It's only going to actually activate unless it gets to 10. And it ranges from 10 to 100. So just that little bit of give in the middle, that means it will ignore it. That's all that 10 is. You can just leave it alone. So if I ran this program by itself, it would basically run the drive base. If I pushed forward, they go forward, back, left, or right, whatever. That would do it. I'm done. I could download this for the robot and I would be done. But we also wanted to look at a couple buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and just do one set of buttons. I'm going to look at the E button, and you can go from there and do other buttons as well. So let's see. Let's see what we got here. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. This is set up for the Clawbot with all of the sensors on it. So you can see all these sensors here. In the motor and sensor setup, you're going to set it up for your robot so that all the stuff you see here would just be the stuff that's on your robot. So you probably just see the motors. Most of you don't have any sensors on there yet. So I'm going to say go down to the wireless controller and look at button E up. And so if button E up is pressed is 1. So if button E up is pressed, I want it to do something. I want it to set a motor. I want it to set, let's just say, the arm motor to 100. Okay, that's cool. So it's going to keep checking, and if that button E up is pressed, it's going to set the motor to 100. Now, what if it's not pressed? Well, I have another thing that could happen. And I'm going to nest these if statements, and I'll explain why in a minute. So maybe button E down is pressed. So wireless controller, button E down. If that one's pressed, well, it's probably going to do the opposite of up. So I'm going to set the arm motor to negative 100. So let me come down here, set motor, set the arm motor to negative 100. Whoops. Okay, so it is checking these. If the joystick value, if button E up is pressed, set the arm motor to positive 100. Or, so that else means if that doesn't happen, if I'm not pushing E up, well, what if I'm pushing E down? Well, E down, if that one's pressed, set the arm motor to negative 100, go in the opposite direction. And I'm kind of nesting these because if you push them both at the same time, I don't want it to be fighting with itself, okay? So if you're pressing button E up, that'll be done. That's what it'll do. It'll move it up 100. And that, of course, pressing them both will be accidental, but that's something I do want to account for. So if the E up isn't pressed, we're going to look at this next thing. If button E down is pressed, and set the arm motor to negative 100. Finally, if neither of them are pressed, I want to set it to 0. And I could just say stop motor instead of set it to 0, but they're essentially the same thing. So I have to put this inside the else for both of them. So if this isn't pressed and this one isn't pressed, then set it to 0. Okay, so because if you're pressing just the up or just the down, you don't also want it to be set to 0. Okay, so that's it. That will run a claw or run an arm or something like that, up or down. So if you're running a conveyor belt, it can go forward and backward. You may be tempted with the conveyor belt to only let it go forward because it'll only really need to go forward. But if something gets stuck in a competition, you just want to run it back real quick, I would make sure that functionality is there. I think that is it. Oh, one more thing. If you're running, if you're doing a picture and you're running those spinning wheels and they're spinning so fast, you might not want them to stop. So you'll have a button to start those motors. So you have a button you'll set both the motors to 100, and then you'll just leave them on. There won't be any option to turn them off while you're in a competition. Just shut off your program and that will shut it off, because once they get going, there's no real reason in the middle of a competition to stop them. So think about those kinds of things. So that is some basics of programming with Robot C. And for other things, you just add more if loops in there, and that will get you going. I think that's it. Ask me if you have any questions. It's all here. Woo.